News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And it's not as wet as it was yesterday and the day before. So the weather's improving. Very good. But we did have some severely heavy weather last week. Some people couldn't even get in their cars. Well, there you go. Now then, this morning, following the sort of sensational or unexpected news at the Presidential Commission looking into the issuance of bonds, and the arrival there of the man at the epicenter of this whole thing, or one of the men anyway, Mr. Arjun Aloysius, we have to discuss what happened yesterday. We have none other than Mr. Rusripala Tenakun. Very good morning to you, Mr. Rusripala.
Good morning, Faraz.
Good morning. I didn't see you at the Commission of Inquiry yesterday.
No, I couldn't.
Were you a bit busy?
I was a little busy.
What could be more
I wish I
busier
could
than
be there.
this? What could be more busier and interesting than this?
Oh, it was certainly more interesting to be there, but circumstances compelled me to stay out for some other reasons.
Now then, can you tell us in a nutshell, can you explain what happened? Why is it that there was a great expectation and a lot of interest in hearing Mr. Aloysius's side of the story? Because of course, you know, as far as I know, he's never given an interview and so on. And so, whilst we've heard the other side, or the several other sides, we hadn't heard from him. So what does this all mean? What happened?
You know, this coming to this issue of the interest by people, there are two parties to this.
Yeah.
One is the interest shown by the Commission itself.
Yeah.
The Commission was very much interested to elicit information from Arjun Aloysius because of certain evidence that has already been laid before the Commission, and the necessity to ascertain and confirm the truth and the veracity by getting evidence directly from him.
Yeah.
You know, and secondly, this is a public interest matter for us. We can never forget this. The interest that the public has in this issue.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a theatrical interest like, you know, somebody watching a circus and then be thrilled by the stunts and other things.
Yeah.
There are people who are really interested to know what really has happened.
Yeah.
So the whole purpose of the appointment of a commission like this is to ascertain the truth of a matter of public interest.
Yes.
So therefore, it was very, everybody was concerned about the role that the principal name that has been mentioned throughout the Commission of Inquiry, this inquiry, was these perpetual treasuries. And what they have to come and say before the Commission was of great importance to people and to us and to everybody. I'm sure you would have been disappointed in your mind not to.
I was extremely disappointed. Sorry, yes, I was extremely disappointed because I'd been looking forward to this because I wanted to hear the other side.
Don't forget that, you know, this commission, the reason behind the appointment of the commission was to just due to the public concern. By reason of rumors and suspicion of illegalities and irregularities that arises, which led to a confidence crisis, you know, in this country. So the President was very correct in appointing a commission to ascertain the truth. But the commission, with due respect to the commission, cannot act in a manner that any future course of action that arises out of the findings of the commission will not be tainted with anything that they have violated the rules of natural justice, fairness, equity. So therefore, by not compelling this person to come and give evidence, they have done no wrong.
No wrong. And I think to their everlasting credit, the justices the commissioners at this hearing, Justice Chitrasri, Justice Prasanna Jayawardena, and Mr. K. Velupillai, the former Deputy Auditor General, to their everlasting credit, they have tried to act with cold neutrality, which is what they said. And you know, even though there has been such an abiding public interest, and the commissioners have held that nothing, not even the public interest, can override the need to take to be sort of coldly neutral.
Very neutral, extremely neutral. This is very important because, you know, if you see the order, you know, I've just rushed through the order, there were so many areas that the Commission would have wanted to ascertain for themselves. You know, and for ascertaining while ascertaining, also confirming the evidence that already has been led by asking certain specific questions from this party.
Indeed.
But you know, this that opportunity, they didn't want to sort of swap that with the impartiality that they are expected to maintain, and the natural justice laws that they have to observe in any event under the laws of the country, and especially in a matter like this, which is certainly focused completely by the public, by various people. Of course, you know, you see, don't forget the fact that for us, there are three parties to this. The person who says that he will be implicated, he might be implicated, or he has been already implicated. Then there are others who are behind the scene, who are also waiting in fear as to whether their names will come out, and then whether they will be also implicated in the future. The masterminds of this whole operation, which to you and I is no secret, because we have been talking publicly about this matter. Publicly. And it is, although you and I will not want to fall into another SB situation by incriminating ourselves in discussing these matters, but within the realms of our safety, I think we can safely say that we have publicly taken the stand that there are masterminds apparently behind this whole operation.
It had to be. It is not possible that Arjuna Aloysius, the youthful man that he is, acted in some solo misadventure.
Exactly. So that is the second group of people who are watching this very carefully, who, in the context of any future action contemplated or taken, would take cover under any violations or deviations from natural justice and equity laws, if the Commission does so. So therefore it is much better to be safer, because we are worried about the future action and not, you know, this the theatrics and the circus operations, you know, the thrills. You and I certainly don't want to be thrilled by this.
There's nothing to be thrilled about, but there is certainly something to satiate our need to ensure that justice is done, and let's not forget the return of the monies. We cannot let anyone get away with anything. That's not on.
The basic thing for us in this is, in the presidential proclamation, it's very clear, although he has not named any party. He has not named. There is no accusation against any party for this inquiry. It is an open inquiry. He has given a period of time from this period to this period, the bond issues in the central bank, the irregularities to be investigated. So he has accepted the fact that there are already irregularities.
Now that's what I was going to ask you about. The other thing is there some sort of acceptance or resignation? Are you resigned? Is Mr. Aloysius resigned to the fact that there is a very, very high possibility that he will be indicted?
Certainly yes. Certainly, yes. Even the judges have judges of the commission have very clearly stated that in the order that was given yesterday, because it is up to the person to decide whether he will be incriminated or he has already been incriminated, because only he knows the facts. And also there is another thing in law, in the evidence ordinance, no one shall be compelled to disclose to the court any confidential information that he has shared with his legal consultant or advisor. No one will be compelled. But unless otherwise that person chooses to give evidence. So in this case, I mean, they have chosen the latter by not coming to give evidence. They will not be compelled to disclose anything that the commission may ask. So these are safety measures that they are taking, because they know better than you and I what they are up to.
And what they were.
What they were.
But then on the other hand, now I understand, as a layman now I understand that one cannot be compelled. Especially because in criminal matters one cannot be compelled to give evidence. That's fine. But who said anything about this commission being, this is not a criminal court, is it? It's just an inquiry. It's on a fact-finding mission. Isn't that what, in essence, the Attorney General is saying?
No, that's true. But then the commission that is delivering a recommendation or giving a recommendation should have acted within the realms of natural justice and the rules of law, like that of a court of law. And if they do violate, that will lead to all kinds of accusations against the findings. We know in this country, some commissions, they totally disregarded the rules of law. They violated everything. And they even disenfranchised the people, the victims. You see, I don't think that the president today expects a situation like that to repeat. Certainly he will want natural justice maintained, but equity maintained.
Yes, but in the order it says here, page 6, since the rule that an accused cannot be compelled to give evidence is well established and must be followed, the remaining question is whether that rule can or should be applied to the proceedings before this commission of inquiry, which are not criminal in character. Instead, as Mr. De Oliveira cogently emphasized, the proceedings before this commission of inquiry are of a fact-finding character. So then why can't he give evidence?
No, exactly. Even now, with all these objections, the commission, I believe as a layman, is in a position to ask or forcefully ask this person to come and give evidence, and then refrain from answering from whatever areas that he thinks will incriminate himself. And that also leads to another important thing for us. Now, there are certain aspects which Arjuna Aloysius himself only can explain. Now, for example, he resigned from the Directorate of Perpetual Treasuries on the 16th of January 2015. Now, do you know the reason? Do I know the reason? It is he who should come before the court and say.
Now we must point out the implication of this.
Exactly.
You said on which date?
15th of January 2000.
6 days after this government was elected. And a week before, Arjuna Mahendran was appointed as
even before his letter was given by the president of this country as the governor of the central bank, this Arjuna Aloysius resigns.
So how coincident?
It's not a coincidence. We have to ask why he resigned.
So that's why we need to ask him.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just telling one example. You see, this is just one example. If he could give a very plausible explanation to things like that, you know, no one else can, by any amount of evidence, can you get the fact that the true, really what was behind the reason for him to have resigned on the 16th of January when there was no question of a governor or his uncle being appointed as the governor for the rest of the public? He knew it.
Darren, I just want to remind people that if you want to send in any questions right into here,
yes,
our number is 0772 300 305. The SMSs will come right here. Please don't try and call it. Just send us an SMS.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be there you go. It's on your screen now.
Yes.
And we've got a message already. This viewer is suggesting that Arjun Aloysius has already accepted his role and guilt by this method.
I mean, not necessarily. I think, yes, to some extent he has found, or he thought that, you know, his giving evidence would further implicate him. Already the judges of the commission have said that the lawyer appearing for him has accepted the fact that, you know, he is already accused. He's already accused. But in this commission of inquiry, there is no accused here.
Yes, so that's what I was going to ask. My next question to you was, but there is no accused. Mr. Aloysius is not accused.
No.
They are still only looking.
Yes.
But somehow or other,
yes,
he seems to have this feeling that he's going to be indicted.
I mean, he's the best judge, no, Faraz. He knows what he has been up to. He knows what his involvements are. No one else knows better than him.
Yeah.
So he has taken the right decision. Well,
yeah,
this is what I did. I don't want to, you know, aggravate it further by my going and giving statements.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only conclusion that we can come to, no? The public affair. So that is the reason. But one thing, don't forget that it shall be lawful, nevertheless, for the Attorney General to institute criminal proceedings in a court of law in respect of any offence, you know, based on the material that has been elicited in this investigation.
Another viewer, thank you for these, is saying, but Mr. Aloysius is already implicated from what we've heard.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we don't want to go into conclusions like that.
Right. Another question.
Yes.
Therefore, if the commission is to come to a finding on a killing, and the question is whether the noticed party was present at the scene, which would be incriminating, he has to be excused. On the other hand, in my humble view, he is in contempt. Is that right?
Can I tell you an example, Faraz?
Yes.
A witness comes to give an evidence over some other issue, and he says, he is asked the question, where were you at this time of the day? He will say, I was murdering my wife. I mean, that is the most relevant example in this case.
Yeah.
Because if the witness has so many things to say, which he should not say, I mean, it is best for him to keep quiet.
Right. Now then, another question.
Yeah.
If this commission is not compelling Arjun Aloysius to give evidence, how come? Now I don't know who this is, right?
Yeah.
How come RK was compelled to give evidence?
Well, you see, there was no...
Who's RK?
Definitely the former Minister of Finance. I think that is what we are made to believe.
Yeah, but he said that it wasn't, people don't call him that.
No, but finally it was Mr. Ravi Karunanayake who was summoned before the commission. No, he was summoned before the commission.
Okay.
He had the audacity to come before the commission, and he said what he has to say.
Yeah.
Of course, he...
So the viewer is asking,
yes,
how come they compelled him to come?
Yeah.
Oh, was his lawyer unaware of this business?
No. I mean, he did not implicate himself in the findings of the inquiry to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah.
He has accepted some gratification from a party who was involved in a public affair.
Shall we say seemingly a seeming gratification?
Yeah, of course, seeming gratification.
Yeah.
I mean, or he or his family members.
Yeah.
I mean, in a matter, it may be totally outside the bond issue. We don't know. So therefore his participation in the inquiry is different. But in this case, Arjuna Aloysius and his company has been the focal point in this entire investigation. Every witness who gave evidence have been mentioning. I mean, who are the other primary dealers who made billions of profits for us? Not a single. Not a single in the billion range. This is the only company that made close upon, according to the information available, 11 billion out of these transactions.
Actually, over 3 accounting periods, it's approximately 12.6 billion.
There you are. There you are. And it is for the country, for the public to know.
I must draw your attention. These are profits. 12.6 billion is profits.
Exactly.
So the gross would have been much more.
No, we are more interested to find out where the loss is.
I'd be more interested in finding out what those expenses were.
Yes. I mean, once you get illegitimate profits, any person can use it for anything, you know, luxuries and donations and gratifications and party supports and election.
But isn't it a bit ironic? Isn't it a bit ironic?
If
we just spread this a little bit further. Isn't it ironic? And that is what was going through my mind yesterday while I was sat there. And that is this, that these monies was the large amount, the significant and majority portion of these monies were at the expense of the EPF, the people's monies. And there they are, paying lawyers super high rates and motoring in upmarket luxury vehicles, living in luxury homes and whatever. But none of this appears to have come from their own hard work. It has come by robbing the people. And that to me is the irony.
You mentioned something which I am inclined not to agree. You said most of the money would have caused the loss to the EPF. Finally, everything has ended up in the EPF for us.
So you're taking issue with me for saying most instead of saying all.
Yes, you know, that is entirety of the illegitimate profits, if there is any, has been by the exploitation of the Provident Fund.
Mr. Risipala, you know, you take a loan and you make every effort to pay it back. And you know, you pay it back, and at least you're paying it back. These people have robbed. There is absolutely no shred of remorse. Nothing. No shred of remorse. And certainly no move to repay these monies, return the monies. And Mr. Risipala, I want to ask you, how can they lord it about in all sorts of places? Because they're just perpetuating what they've done. People involved in this bond scam, there's no two words about it, robbed this country completely, wholesale robbing.
Yes.
Let's not beat about the bush. Let's say it the way it is. They robbed, and you know, theft is when you take something that belongs to somebody else without any intention of returning it.
Yes.
That's theft.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, I am totally in agreement with you, Faraz. You can see how frantically they are trying to defend themselves. How can you imagine them to volunteer and come forward and say, well, this is we are going to return this money? They are hell-bound to keep the last cent of this illegitimately earned money, you know, for themselves, and also to free themselves from any further legal action or resulting in any criminal proceedings against them.
Another viewer is saying he's touching on another subject of contention and where the public, especially in Sri Lanka's conscience and belief has been aroused, cricket. And he says, is this similar to Ramesh Kaluwitharana being the scapegoat of Sri Lanka cricket by opening batting with Master Blaster?
There are so many things like that, happening in the country, which I think
another viewer is asking, if Arjuna Mahendran is allowed to protect himself and his powerful friends who rule this country, who will protect the interests of the people who elected his friends to rule over them in good faith in the first place? Who? The media? He's asking, if Arjuna Mahendran is allowed to protect himself and his powerful friends who rule this country, who is it will protect the interests of the people who elected them in the first place?
This is not a matter for us that can end up by somebody taking some action. This is entirely in the domain of the public. In the most critical manner, members of the public in this country, the largest majority, are concerned, watching, and they will be following this to the last until the culprits are brought to
I want to say something else. Somebody else is saying, why don't you speak on other areas such as the Sil Reddy scam, which is also people's money, instead of beating around the bush on the bond scam? Well, we're not beating around the bush on the bond scam. If it was not for the media, nobody would have known, and Arjuna Mahendran would still be the governor of the central bank. And as for the Sil Reddy, we have covered it at every angle. And it's a great pity that such a fine upstanding gentleman as Lalit Veeratunga has had to pay the ultimate price, and whereas the former president Mahinda Rajapaksa is lauding it around here, there and everywhere, going from temple to temple and from office to office and dinner to lunch to breakfast and so on, and he has not been asked about this issue. He's now holier than thou, comes out and says, yes, I ordered it, but I didn't do anything wrong.
For us, what is at the bottom of that question is, this is the type of thing that is happening in this country. When a fraud takes place, they say, well, a fraud has taken place before also. What does it matter to us?
Exactly.
That is a fraud, this is a fraud.
That doesn't make it right.
We are discussing this, and we are discussing that as well. Who is taking a softer issue or a soft corner to those?
And another valid question as we come to the end. Somebody is saying, don't you think the Commission should know the 800 or whatever pages of SMS messages of Arjuna Aloysius to tell the Commission who he has referred to as PM, RK, and what is the use of the Commission investigating his mobile and laptops if we don't know who is PM and who is RK?
I think the best person to answer that question is Aloysius himself. That is why he refrained with this legal advice.
So will we ever,
Yes.
Do you think we will ever be able to have Mr. Aloysius questioned?
This is not the end. This is only the beginning.
But even if he comes to court, he can say, well, I'm not taking the stand.
He can't do that. The evidence will be led through others, to bring all this to light.
Do you think that he's under enormous pressure not to take the stand, so to speak, so that answers like who is this PM, who is this RK will be explained?
Why did you resign? When did you resign?
Why did you resign then? Did you have some inside information as to what is going to happen the next week?
Yes.
Is that why you resigned?
Yes. Now you see, we cannot forget the AG may place before the Commission any evidence or other material which in the opinion of the AG is relevant. This is under section 26 of the this Commission of Inquiry law. They still can. If you see after this episode, there will be a lot of openings for the Attorney General to decide what relevant information that he has to place before the Commission. I am sure people like Mr. De Oliveira, acting so vigilantly, will not miss this opportunity.
As we come to the end, this is a very interesting SMS. It says here, by telephone conversations, it's clear that the evidence was tampered with. Remember all those deleted messages?
Yes. Already, that is why he accepts for himself that he is already incriminated.
And what is this business? Do you remember when we were in court the other day, Mr. Salgado was asked about you know, why did you leave the room, leaving your expensive instrument with Mr. Locious?
Yeah.
They were both in Singapore.
Definitely.
And Mr. Sagadu said, well, he knew that there was some illegal matter happening.
That infers for us further that this Salgado, being an accomplice or an employee of that company, knew even before that such things were happening, and he should not have been there. So that also goes to prove that this has been a going on thing, and he knew what is going to happen. Therefore he left the room.
Or was there some other unnatural thing happening there, other illegal matter? We don't know, but our control room's going completely berserk because they wanted more back. So, Mr. Rusipala Tenakun, thank you very much for being on Newsline.
Yes.
And yes, we've got a last message here, and it says, this 30 minutes is not enough. Please consider having 15 minutes more. Gee. Right. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow morning. Take care and God bless.